demonstration of using error handling in FloData. Watch and learn how error handling in FloData is fast, simple, and requires only a few minutes. Let's begin by creating our initial flow. We will start by putting a generate rows step onto the grid. This generate rows will hold our sample data. We're going to call this name, and we're going to specify it as a date time so it throws into error. And then under the value, we will set it into a simple string format. We want this to throw into error so I can show you how to log errors. The next step is our target connection, where the record will be inserted. We'll simply set the module to account, insert as the operation, and under field mapping, we'll map name to name. Now, we have two logs. The top one is our success log, and at the bottom one is our error log. We'll enter the modified JavaScript and set our success variable as s. And then in the success log, it will hold both the ID and that s variable. So if the ID is properly inserted, it will have an s. And now at the error log, we will set our error variables, error and error message. If we right-click on the modified JavaScript, we can see that we have two options, main output and error handling. We're going to select error handling, and at the top, we're going to select main output. This will make it so if there is an error in the insertion, it will automatically go to that bottom JavaScript step. And if there's no error, it'll automatically go to the top. This is why we set main output and error handling. And now we can simply save the flow and run it. The flow has been completed. Let's review the logs. Even though it says completed, it was actually thrown into error. As we can see, it went into the error log and told us error and record could not be inserted. This is because the name was in date time format instead of being in its usual string format. Now, let's see what this would look like on a workflow level. Just like before, we have our primary flow, and then we have our two log flows, success and error. Similar to before, if we right-click on this flow, we have error handling, and we also have main output. The success will be our main output, and the error will obviously be the error handling. Opening the main flow, we can see that we start off with a generate rows step. This generate rows step will hold our sample values. As we can see at the bottom, we have two variables, a and b, but they are given string values, a, b, c, and d, e, f. Next is simply a log which will hold our a and b variables so you can see that it is in fact a, b, c, and d, e, and f. And next is our calculator step. Here we're going to do a sum where we add a and b. We'll set the calculation to a plus b, field A being a, and field B being b. But here we'll set the value type to number, whereas if you recall, we previously set it to string. And then we'll have our log that will show the sum, the result of a plus b. And then this entire operation will be stored into one singular variable called sum, which will be valid through the entire Java virtual machine. Obviously, this will be thrown into error because we cannot throw two strings, because we cannot add two strings, but just for the purpose of the flow, I'll show you what the success looks like. We have to start off with a generate rows because a modified JavaScript cannot be the first step. So we'll simply just have a dummy value that we insert through here. And then coming into our modified JavaScript, we will have our success variable, and then also the sum that we previously set before. And if we get fields, these two fields will appear at the bottom as new variables. And now in the success log, we simply just have the sum and the success variable. Now we will head over to the error handling part of the flow, the more important part. Just like before, we cannot have a modified JavaScript as the first step, so we have to have a dummy generate rows. And then in the modified JavaScript, we have our error variable and our error message as well. And just like before, get fields, and these two variables are created. In the error log, we simply just have the error and the error message. Now, we can simply save this flow, save the whole workflow, and now we can run it. The flow has been completed, but as we know from before, it simply just went through all the steps, and in reality, as we can see, it ended in error. So obviously we cannot add two string values, so we will get couldn't convert string to number error. Had we set those as number values, it would have gone through to the success log. And here in the error log, we can see error is E and sum of A and B flow has an error. Thank you for watching. For more information, send us your queries at info@flodata.io or call us at 209-755-6464.